Join us on Saturday, February 9th at 6 p.m. at Embassy Suites. Jazakallah khair.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله الذي هدانا إلى دين الإسلام وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله وأكمل لنا ديننا وأتم علينا نعمه فرضي لنا الإسلام دينا فلا نعبد إلا إياه ولا نستعين إلا به. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة فجزاه الله عنا وعن كل المسلمين خيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, if the life of a Muslim were to be a tree, then the roots of it would be service. For our entire faith revolves around service. We have been inspired by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself to serve in His name through the seed known as faith. In chapter number 51, verse number 56, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That I have created mankind and jinn only to worship me, i.e. to serve me, i.e. to serve in my name, i.e. to serve because of me. The term worship, my dear friends, is broad. It is beyond the cultural comprehension of it. When you say worship or when you hear the word worship, if you have limitations in your mind upon saying it, you need to reevaluate what worship truly means. Because there are no walls or borders, boundaries or lines that confine it. Just as our Islamic life is not separate from our personal life. If we feel it is, then we need to reassess that also. As a Muslim, faith has taught us all a framework through which we serve. That framework consists of two ends. Number one, the acknowledgement of His blessing upon yourself by gifting you an opportunity. Opportunities are rare. They're not lying on the street for people to trample over, or for someone who feels like they need to do something, they can pick it up and do it. Opportunities to serve are a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The framework of service is number one, acknowledging that opportunity to be a blessing. And number two, gratitude. Gratitude for acknowledging that your Lord has given you the ability and the resources to serve in the capacity of that opportunity. In addition to the framework, Islam has laid the method through which we serve. And that too comprises of two items. Number one, etiquette. And number two, respect. In today's khutbah, which I've titled Sporadic Service versus a Life of Service, in light of MLK Day, which was just this past Monday, and the ever so rising need to serve humanity in our world that is growing by the day, I intend to restore the framework, the method, and the manner in which you and I have all been obliged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to serve. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open my heart and our hearts to understand the importance of our role on this earth and to fulfill it to the best of our ability. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Let us go to that framework again. Acknowledgement and appreciation. Gratitude. This framework is built by the material of the following. For Him, because of Him, with Him, and through Him. Allah is the one that gave you the idea. He allowed you to notice the opportunity. He granted you the ability to take up the initiative and work it. And He helped you through it until that task was accomplished. So as a Muslim, the framework of our service begins with Allah. For Him, because of Him, with Him, and through Him. I cannot do anything successfully without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't matter which capacity you serve. Again, service itself has a defined framework in our cultural mentality. If I'm serving in Islam, it should be in a certain area, with certain people, in certain actions, for a certain cause. If it has nothing to do with the masjid, if it has nothing to do with Muslims, if it has nothing to do with what I saw the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ doing, then I think it's outside the realm of Islamic service. No, it's not. So long you are serving the creation of Allah, serve. And serve for Him, because of Him, with Him, and through Him. 2 years ago, I was working on a national campaign. I was up in Brooklyn, New York, and we were with our team. And at the evening, we huddled together, had our final discussions, and we broke away for the next day. There were many Muslims on that team. There was one sister from Chicago. And when we concluded our discussion, she said, I need to call it a night because I need to wake up for tahajjud in the morning and begin my day with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She wasn't dressed as a Muslim, but she lived by the code of Islam. Her words shook me. That I was trying to get back to make my Isha because my legs were tired, my body was frail and weak. I said, let me rest up and wait for Fajr. And here she is saying, I need to call it a night. I need to wake up early for tahajjud and start the new day. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes the reason for what you do, then see the change happen before your eyes. That's the framework Islam has given us. As for the method, what is the method? As I told you all, respect and etiquette. Respect is the most important pillar in service when it comes to how we serve as Muslims. We never do things for people out of sympathy. We do it because we honor them. We have sympathy on ourselves that we are weak and frail, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with the opportunity to serve. Allah has brought this opportunity in front of me. Allah has brought this person in front of me. They are honored by Allah. I am nothing. Upholding respect is what defines us as the followers of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself stated, "Man lam yarham saghirana wa lam yuwaqqir kabirana falaysa minna." If you don't have mercy on the young ones and you don't respect the elders, you're not from us. You're not from us. You're not from us. In another hadith, it is stated that serving the elderly is akin to serving Allah. And why would it not be? Because everyone we serve, everything we serve is because of Allah. Hence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us, and Allah will acknowledge our service, and Allah will grant us goodness in both the worlds because of it. Nowadays, service has also become a method to disrespect someone. I'm going to give you something, but I want to take a selfie with you to show people, I did it. Look at that. Or call your camera crew to come with you and say, look what we're doing. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. This was a statement made by some Sahabi that Allah had made into His Quran. Allah had made these words a part of His Quran. We're feeding you only for Allah. We don't need anything in compensation for it, nor do we need gratitude from you. It is something I'm doing not for you or because of you. I'm doing this for my Allah. I'm doing this because I need to do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we serve with respect. Uphold the respect of those you serve. And I'll give you 2 examples very soon. In regards to etiquette, every minute detail is in observance of teaching that makes any practice that we do more meaningful. In our religion, it's known as sunnah. Something which has been forgotten. Something which has been put in a secondary status in our religion. Well, it's not farad. It's not compulsory. It's not a command. You could do it if you want to do it. No, we've lost touch with reality, brothers and sisters. Sunnah was the defined etiquette and method that made us distinguishable in the people's eyes. Many of us admire foreign cultures and the etiquettes that they observe in their practices. Sometimes we talk about it. For example, the Japanese footwear etiquette known as the genkin. There is an area in the house which is known as the genkin. It is separate from the rest of the house, although it is in the house. It is where the shoes are taken off. You don't walk into the house with your shoes. In our culture today, you eat with your shoes and you sleep with your shoes. What you take from outside, you bring inside, and whatever is inside, you take outside. But the Japanese community is very particular of their shoes and their footwear. And they take it off in the genkin, not do they only take it off, but they align it in a way that it's facing outside. Don't let the shoe face inwards, let it face outside. For the rest of the floor in the house has a separate footwear for it known as slippers. But there is a type of floor known as a tatami floor where not even slippers are allowed. You only walk on it with barefoot or with socks. When we see this etiquette being done across the spectrum, it looks so beautiful. It's distinguishable. It is something that people admire. Our Quran teaches us these etiquettes and more. In chapter number 20, verse number 12 and 13, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنِّي أَنَا رَبُّكَ فَاخْلَعْنَ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving Musa alayhi salam prophethood. Allah is introducing himself to Musa alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now tasking him with the greatest task of that time. And he's telling him, I have selected you. Take off your shoes. I am your Lord. Take off your shoes. You're in a very sacred valley. And know that I have selected you, so listen attentively to what is being revealed. Truth be told, if it wasn't for the iqamah before salah, I really don't know how the Muslims in a masjid or in Masjidul Haram would become quiet. Have you noticed that? People are talking, they're Skyping, iqamah, everyone gets up, silent and in order. If it wasn't for the iqamah and the Imam was saying, line up, be quiet, stand correctly, be attentive, no one would listen. When the word of Allah is spoken, we are to be attentive. Why? Because that etiquette teaches us a sense of discipline that when we're outside and we're listening to someone, we are silent. When someone is speaking, we are silent. When someone is preaching, we are silent. It is so sad that sometimes when there are gatherings in a mosque or elsewhere and a speaker is speaking and people are speaking over that individual's voice. Etiquette. It is a teaching that's embedded into our Islam. And it's through these etiquettes that we serve humanity. When it comes to greeting people, the Chinese culture is very distinct. They shake hands. Contrary to the common consensus, people think Chinese bow. No, they shake hands, they smile, and they say hi. And for the elderly folk especially, they say ni hao. It is a greeting which is really used for the elderly folk. Our Quran teaches us that those people who you know, you greet them. وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُمْ بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا. Someone greets you, you greet them back. This is in our Islam. if someone is provoking you, if someone is pushing your button, وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Even a person who is trying to instigate a situation, they are not deprived of your salam. Why? Because I don't give salam to who I want to. I give salam to everyone, not because they need it, but because I need it. فَسَلِّمُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ تَحِيَّةً مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُبَارَكَةً طَيِّبَةً. The Quran says when you're giving that greeting of peace, you're giving it for yourself. Hence, when I embed these etiquettes in myself, and I do it with respect, and I serve in the framework of Allah, for Him, with Him, through Him, and because of Him, now my service is true service. Last but not least, beyond the framework, the method is the manner. Now we have a framework and we acknowledge the method of perfection. We will be always looking for an opportunity to serve. A Muslim is someone who does not have to be told what to do. A Muslim does it because they realize it needs to be done. That's what makes us Muslim. And when we see that opportunity, we do three things. Number one, we say, "Oh Allah, use me for it. Oh Allah, use me for this." And you do it because He allowed you to do it. And upon completion, you beg Him not to deprive you due to your feeling of self-accomplishment. Oh, I did this. No. We ask Allah before we do. We do it with Allah, and then we beg Allah at the end, do not deprive me for any shortcomings on my side, or because of my pride and arrogance. Oh Allah, don't do this. Our predecessors, the Khulafa Rashideen, the Sahaba, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they serve in a manner that should be ideal for service in our world today, brothers and sisters. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu would visit a blind elderly woman's house almost on a daily basis and would take care of her chores and her household duties. She was unaware of who kept up these deeds in private, but it was only discovered after another Sahabi saw him doing it. He was a Sahabi. He is from the Khulafa Rashideen. He is from the Ashara Mubashara, the 10 who have been promised for paradise amongst many more. But he knew service for Allah meant doing it right, doing it consistently, and without people knowing he used to do it. The Khalifa passes on. And the next morning, people wake up and find that there was no food on their doorsteps, only to understand that there was a person who once lived. Every night would put food on their doorsteps because he knew they were needy and that they were deserving of it. When we start serving in this manner, brothers and sisters, understand it's your obligation. We have to serve. And we have to serve within the framework, with the method, according to the manner that was just described. When we start doing this, Allah will change the narrative and Allah will solve the problems. Then the calls for justice, the cries for equality will actually transform into reality. It seems that we Muslims have lost the path of reality when it comes to how we do things. And out of our desperation, we have taken the path of others and what they have adopted. Remember one thing, I'm not putting anyone down today. I'm reminding you and I that we were meant to be leaders and guides on how things should be done. We were never sent to be followers. We have light in our hands and light in our hearts. It is due time that we shine it for ourselves and for others to see that path. And remember one thing, brothers and sisters. There's a lot of work to be done out there. And all of us could make a dent in it by doing our own individual work. And remember, size doesn't matter. The duration of its impact does. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ittaqun nar walau bishiqqi tamra." Protect yourself from the hellfire, even if it's by giving a piece of date in charity. What can I do? You're standing in line and you're paying for your groceries and the person behind you is struggling to see if they have enough money. Tell the cashier, take this $20, put it towards their groceries. You don't need the acknowledgement. You will be far out into a car park before he or she realizes that you contributed. This is called a continuous charity. This is called service. You see litter on the ground, you pick it up. Why? Not because the government is shut down, but because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said the lowest level of faith is to pick up something from the floor. You feed an animal. It may be a dog or a cat, you feed it. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ tells us that a prostitute fed a dog, and because of her mercy to the dog, the one above had mercy on her. You visit the sick. Why? Because in our country and in our world, those who are in hospitals and hospices are left to die alone. Go and visit them. Not because angels will pray for you morning and evening, but because this is service that you're obliged to do. Remember one thing, my dear brothers and sisters. The notable figures that served selflessly are admired by our world. As we commemorate the late Martin Luther King and what he represented, it is imperative that we pause and see the bigger picture. That he served in one field that my Prophet Muhammad ﷺ served in 100 more of. Combating racism was one of the many things that my Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did. So we should be proud to be Muslims and followers of Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ. And we should serve diligently because our world needs it. Our strength of service to him through ourselves in his name is the impact that we can make outside of these two if we can perfect them first. And finally, our service is not an initiation of our own. It is a continuation of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and inspire us, open our hearts and minds, and allow us to understand the greatness of our service. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, etiquette, method, manner, these things are learned. It's not something that people generally understand. It's not something that you're born with. These are not instincts that are embedded into the human being as a chip that you'll just grow up knowing these things. They have to be learned, and they have to be taught, and they have to be practiced before they can be propagated. My question is simple. Where do we do that? Where can this be done? It can be done where it was always done. It was always done in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were houses of wisdom. They were houses of knowledge. They were houses for the community. They were houses for the poor and the grieving. It was the houses for the rich and the affluent. It was the house for every human being and even the creatures. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu would even bring his kid into the masjid of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because the house of Allah was also for that creature. What is my point? It is time that we break away from how we see a masjid and revive the soul of Masjid Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam in our masjid. We are positioning ourselves, inshallah. We are pushing ourselves, inshallah, that we are going to make this the place where people will not just come and learn, but they will come and build that environment. They will build that momentum and passion within themselves. And they will do and they will get things done, inshallah, because that's what the Prophet's masjid, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did. And it continues to do. And that's what every masjid on the face of the earth needs to do. Because when we serve Allah and we serve ourselves through the deen of Islam, we will then serve humanity. That is why we are asking you, brothers and sisters. It's simple. Our community needs us now. Our masjid needs us now. This is the crossroads. We are on the crossroads. Where we go from here will define our future. It is hard and difficult to take a step where something isn't tangible. It's not something you see or feel. But trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam trusted Allah when he said, you are sent as a mercy for the whole world. For lil-alameen, for the world. He did not leave Hijaz during his prophethood. But his mercy reached from the north to the south pole. Why? Because he had the intention to do it. Let us make our intention today. This masjid, inshallah, is going to lead in this path. Inshallah, we are going to re-represent what it means to be from the masjid of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. We're going to bring back that quality of service and goodness. We are going to make our generation critical thinkers that will understand the problems of the world today. They will use their Islamic knowledge as a foundation to devise the solution and ask Allah to be part of making that solution happen. So donate to your masjid. Come to our fundraiser on the 9th of February and make our dream a reality. We send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself says in the Holy Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad abdika wa rasulika an-nabiy al-ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathiran kathira. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في ديننا ودنيانا وآخرتنا. نسألك اللهم من الخير كله ونعوذ بك اللهم من الشر كله. اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Please ensure that our lines are straight. Stand shoulder to shoulder. The edge of our heel should be on the edge of the line. Please ensure the line in front of us is complete from both ends before we form a second line.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la